I normally don't like making more than one video about the same character, but given that there was a lot of interest for the Herald of Blood, Herald of Plague character that I posted earlier, and that I happened to stumble on some new tech, I figured this would be a good opportunity to share that with you guys and clear out some misconceptions, maybe share a little bit more. I haven't really been playing this character, so he's still at the same level, using basically the same gear, or actually literally the same gear. I'm personally not much of a map blaster, right? So you're not going to be getting endgame full deep guides about how things scale. But I'm sure like shield charge poison is already somewhat of an established archetype that has been played a good bit before the patch. If you look up videos regarding that build, then you'll see that it scales perfectly fine. And bleed is comparable, if not straight out better, so you'll be okay. But yeah, this new tech with Plague Nova hopefully allows it so that it can fill itself back up. I'll go over how that happens or why that happens briefly, but if for some reason you would fumble and you wouldn't be able to fill the Nova by itself, you can always just use a Resonating Shield or Shield Charge to load it back up. This new tech is, as you see, very valuable for open areas, kind of like these map layouts, where you can encounter a large amount of packs in the wild. A small caveat is that Plague Nova always hits for the same amount. It does not have a damage bracket. So in order for it to propagate properly, you kind of want to run into monster packs that have a variety of monsters, so that the rhythm at which they're exploding is different. I think you kind of get the view for it, so I'll probably just leave it here, and we can go into the whole mechanics and technical side of it. What a jerk.
Just try it.
Fine, we'll do a little bit more, I guess, since they're not letting me open that portal. Okay, that should be good. Fortunately, no breach in this area, but it did have the, what do you call it, Beyonders kind of mechanic. So, yeah. Let's see. Plaguebearer stores expected poison from each hit that you issue, up to a cap. And then you release that cap as a hit of physical damage. The more poison that is stored, the larger the AoE. So that's why you always want to try to hit the full 100%. Usually you use this for poison. However, since it's a physical hit, and we're scaling our chance to bleed, this allows it to also apply bleeding, which will then trigger Herald of Blood. Normally, the poison inflicted from Plaguebearer itself will not store back into itself. This is why we need the asynchronous explosions from Herald of Blood, which will then issue a poison that will once again fill the Plaguebearer back up. That is the main interaction that I wanted to share here. In terms of support gems, this skill gem is a little bit janky. Like, it's not an attack, it's not a spell, it's a physical hit. So you can scale that with physical damage, and you can support it for more AoE, but for some strange reason, these skills, or these supports that say supports any skill that hits, will not go in there. Bursting Plague, same thing. Supports skills that can poison. This can poison, but that doesn't work. So yeah, the only gems that you can really use are increased AoE, and then Chaos Mastery, because it's got the Chaos tag, and then Physical Mastery. Hold on. Oh, Intelligence Requirement. But yeah, Physical Mastery can also go there. So you can use these two gems to regulate the level of Plaguebearer. And this is good because you want to be able to, once again, stack up to 100%. and you want to reach some sort of sweet spot where the Plague Bearer is not hitting for so much damage that it's straight out one-shotting the packs or the creatures, and then it's not applying the bleed, because you need them to die from bleeding. And then it can't be too low, where the bleed will be too slow. Other than these 3 gems, I haven't found anything else that is worthwhile for supporting this, so 3 linking is definitely not necessary. Then in terms of single target, if you're struggling for some reason, which you really shouldn't be, or if you just want to be fancy, you can use this tech regarding Font of Rage, where you support skills that create stationary objects. These are usually either totems or orbs, and then you support them with Font of Rage. The actual skill does not matter, but what you want is this to ramp up your rage. So if we do this, and then we plant a totem, we'll be able to rack up our rage all the way to its cap, which is by default 30. And then that will make it so that before you fight the boss, you're already getting a 30 more damage multiplier on your shield charge to issue an even stronger poison and bleed. Then regarding weapons, I was just using a white spear. I'm currently working on another character, or at least I should be the moment that you're watching this video, which is gonna go more into depth as to what you can do with your weapons. But since we're using shields for our damage, these essentially become stat sticks, and there are very few things that actually work for stat sticking. 2 namely ones are increased elemental damage with attacks, which is global. This applies to heralds, this applies to your attacks with shields, with your weapons, armor explosion, just any attack at all. But this is not relevant to us because we're not dealing elemental damage. The one that is relevant to us is gem levels. So this scales melee skills. As it turns out, shield charge and resonating shield are both melee skills. They don't really work with war cries. Again, I'll go into the details on the next video, but I figured I should toss that out there as well. The last thing that I want to reaffirm, I guess, is I started using Comorbidity instead of Deadly Herald, because I believe I was mistaken regarding this multiplier applying to the coefficient of the poison inflicted. It does scale the expected bleed damage 2557 or 2577. Is it? Yeah, it's the reservation. And then if you do this, it goes up. The reason the damage goes up is because Herald of Blood as well as Blood Hunt have 2 portions to their hit. One of them is the one that scales with a bleed, which you can't scale, and the other one is a flat amount of damage. This portion you can scale. So yeah, the Deadly Herald, not good. And similarly, on the passive tree, the only change that I have made is that I have dropped the cluster with Herald Damage, because the scaling is not going to be relevant. The small portion of flat damage is not relevant at all when you're hitting monsters for a percentage of their max life on corpses from other ones that you're detonating. So then I removed these points, and I transferred them into these area nodes. Area damage for, or area attack damage nodes will scale both resonating shield and shield charge, so you'll get even more damage. But for the moment, I'm just getting increased area of effect for attacks, just for a better feeling when clearing. Those will apply to resonating shield if my Plague Nova would be down, but they themselves will also scale the size of the explosion from Herald of Blood. Finally, the last bit that I wanted to talk about, which I don't know if it's relevant to this character or not. Like, you could consider anointing Low Tolerance. I find Low Tolerance to be an incredibly strong passive for these kind of builds that are stacking a single stack of poison with a large value, and then proliferating them through Herald of Plague. Now, this character isn't necessarily a poison-specific character, and it might be overkill, but keep this in mind for other characters that you might be playing. Assume you're hitting a target for, let's say, 1,000 poison damage over time, and this is the first stack. Then the 60% increased effect will apply on that, and it'll become 1,600. That's all fine, it's normal. Then, when the monster dies, Herald of Plague will spread the most damaging poison. Spread counts as inflicting a new matching ailment. That means that it will proliferate the full 1,600 onto a new target. And then since that new buffed poison is the first poison, it'll once again be applied by low tolerance. So the more monsters you kill, it'll just keep on ramping up to the point where the poison is just incredibly strong at the dead end. Yeah. I believe that's all that I wanted to address for this video. Hopefully later today or tomorrow at worst, I should have a new character posted. So yeah, take care of yourselves, and I hope you're having a very nice weekend. Bye.